Reportedly, allegedly,
Okay.
reportedly.
Now, obviously, we're not like fucking phoning.
The source is not us, it's Korean youth. Welcome to this favorite K-pop show, DK News.
Danny Kim,
David,
lots and lots of
hot-ass tea.
First off, Irene apologizes again.
Oh, and now dark K-pop content creates gender war in Korea.
And last but not least, Burning Sun whistleblower calls out Hyoyeon from SNSD.
Oh no.
And also Seungmi receives an additional charge for his Burning Sun case.
Okay.
And on to the first news. Okay, so Irene apologizes for her controversy. Irene has been relatively out of the public eye since a stylist came out exposing her attitude problems with staff members last year. At the time the news broke out, she received heavy criticism from the public for her alleged power abuse on staff members, and Irene apologized on Instagram shortly after. This led to a cancellation of Red Velvet's fan meet and put a halt to promotions of her movie she was starring in. Now, she did make an appearance on SM's online concert on New Year's Day, but it was on January 15th that Irene decided to break the silence as she posted a letter to her fans on SM's fan community Listen, where she readdressed the controversy that she had last year.
I started as a trainee in 2009 at the age of 19, and until now, standing in front of you as Irene of Red Velvet has been my whole life. I've lived in my little society in the entertainment world, wanting to be the best I can, and I think to do it well is the most important work for me. I lived while thinking I was getting along with the people around me in my own way, so I didn't know that my communication method or expression could be a problem. I only thought that each way of communication was different. I received a lot of worry and reprimands, not only from the public but also from those surrounding me for those events in the past. It gave me time to quietly reflect on myself. There were my members, fans, and staff who took care of me, and I realized that with their care I was able to work without any problems. As I can't turn back time, I'm making a lot of effort to not return to the way I used to be. I realize the heaviness of words and actions, and I will become a more mature person. In the future, as a leader of Red Velvet and a singer, I will not only show a good image, but also be a good human being. Peggy, and I will not try to disappoint you.
Oh, she called herself her own name. As expected, this apology was instantly rejected by the K-Net's popular community. The Koo's user comments showed a strong negative response to Irene's post.
You call power tripping a way of communication? LOL, you really didn't think cursing and being an asshole would not be an issue. She must be having a comeback soon. This will get a pity party for Irene. She thinks life's so easy. Getting cursed by a celebrity 15 years younger than you is a difference in communication method. You really want me to believe that she didn't know her way of communicating was even an issue? Even preschoolers know that screaming in anger in front of someone is wrong. This apology is not doing her any favors, and it only makes her look like she's justifying her actions.
As it stands, it looks like K-Nets don't really have plans on forgiving Irene soon. On a side note, the stylist that originally exposed Irene's behavior put up a post on Instagram 2 weeks ago asking people to stop threatening and harassing her. So please don't do that if you're doing so. So will she ever be forgiven by the Korean public?
I don't think the general public matters right now, because they never forgive anybody, and they weren't fans of her in the first place. I think her fans have all forgiven her. I don't think they were that triggered in the first place, and I think that apology was a very standard, well-written apology. It had all the points, all the bullet points were covered. She said she'd become a better person. She's had a sense of remorse there. Every side is now happy, and they're just going on with their lives. Irene is coming back as the leader of Red Velvet. So if you didn't care from the first place, just walk off. Just go on, and I think everything is covered now.
I think people are acting like she killed a puppy or something.
We're all good.
But at the same time, communication method.
I mean, what are you gonna say though? What are you gonna say other than communication method? I'm sorry, I cursed in front of a face.
Yeah, that's not a communication method.
I mean,
how do you not know that that's wrong?
Well,
how do you not know that
I think
that's
the communication method thing is just a problem of terminology. She was trying to be appropriate and polite as possible in a statement. So
it's not a communication
that's just nitpicking there.
Okay. But it's not a communication method. And on to the next news.
So dark K-pop content creates gender wars. Last week we reported about the controversy around AI Luda being sexually harassed by men, and the AI itself being homophobic and doing hate speech, etc. If you're interested, it's up there. Also, there were privacy issues about the collecting of data that consisted the AI, and eventually, because all of these problems, the AI was shut down. We covered this thoroughly in last week's DK News, so go watch that. Also, we had a very tight discussion on the AI with extra information on how the world is planning to prevent these problems from happening in the future in our Patreon exclusive after show. So go check that out.
Yeah.
Anyways, because of the AI Luda, the country was already going through a mess, and one of the things that was happening was, as usual, another online gender war was started. While most of the females claimed that the behavior of problematic males on online communities sexually harassing Luda was disgusting, males rebutted on every article saying that K-pop fanfics were even more disgusting. Not just K-pop fanfics. Among them, the commenters specifically attacked a genre called RPS, in English RPS, which stands for real person slash. And these fanfics are basically gay fanfics of K-pop idols, which are predominantly written and consumed, circulated by female fans. In RPS, the K-pop idols do sexual behavior. Sometimes the idols are set as slaves, and the expressions and descriptions of sexual behavior are written in extreme detail. You don't even want to know. Thus, as the general public never knew about this RPS fan culture, if you want to call it fan culture, it became a huge controversy and developed into trending #1 on Naver, and also a petition with over 200,000, now even more, which qualifies for the Blue House to give an official statement on the issue.
So the Blue House is gonna talk, the president's gonna come out and talk about fucking fanfics.
Yeah, at least his secretary. Petition stated, please severely punish those who make underage K-pop male idols into sex slaves with RPS. So as the situation escalated, people in Congress, several celebrities came out supporting this movement and petition. And of course, on the other hand, to counter-strike this measure, another petition was raised. So many petitions. Getting more than 300,000 signs this time. Way
The
more firepower.
women have won.
This time they were asking the government to punish deepfake videos that hurt female celebrities, mostly K-pop idols. Deepfake is AI tech where one can Photoshop a particular face to porn videos or nude pics as if it were real. So because RPS and deepfake both involve K-pop idols of both male and female, and the consumers of it go vice versa, this whole controversy became an enormous gender war on the internet. It's still going on. Now the legal side agrees that both sides have a point. Both activities are eligible for punishment, but at the same time, it states that there is a difference between using a real face image in a video and using a name or drawing in a fanfic. Also, there are differences in whether the content is being distributed and sold. So the legal side says that RPS is in a kind of gray area for actual punishment to be enforced, unless there is an actual picture that specifies it's the real person, the real K-pop idol. The usage of name could not be enough for defamation or sexual harassment. Also, for the cases of deepfake, a law was actually made recently stating that the editing, photoshopping, making of deepfake footage for sexual desires, which leads to sexual humiliation, can be eligible for under 5 years of prison or $50,000. However, now the parliament is showing movements to amend this law and make RPS or other types of fanfic, etc., on and on, to be included in the deepfake punishment law. While this whole gender war went on, the general public came to a consensus. Just put both sides in jail. Also, new forms of fan-made content that people didn't know, such as sekte. Did you know what sekte is?
I did not.
Never heard of it. Sekte is getting revealed as well. It's the abbreviation of sex tape. It usually takes the breathing or moaning sounds of porn that sound similar to male K-pop idols' voices, or actually takes the sounds from the footages of male idols breathing hard, and female
it's like
fans.
A compilation of that?
Yeah, they listen to it. Yeah, they listen to it, and I don't know what they do with it. But anyways, these are apparently traded and bought on Twitter.
Where is this underground K-pop shit, like, community?
I have no idea.
I'm so curious. I've never seen this shit.
Yeah,
but I'm curious.
I mean, I've came across some RPS before. It's widespread. You can see like screen caps of it on Twitter and say, "What the fuck?" And you know, people are going.
I mean,
crazy.
we made fun of it last week.
Yeah,
actually. Now looking back, that joke didn't age well.
Right. Usually, I'm not a big fan of these whataboutisms because when the AI Luda controversy was going on, it looked like people were just trying to divert the attention and counter-strike the AI sexual harassment homophobic thing using the RPS examples. And the reason I don't like that behavior is because usually it's the side that has more power in society that does that.
David.
No, but it's true. For example, it could be similar with the All Lives Matter thing that happened with BLM. I just think that when we're talking about women's rights, homophobia, and all, don't say what about male idols that are getting sexually harassed in fanfics. You know, like okay, that's a problem, but let's get there later and now focus on the current issues. I just want to ask the question to those people: why don't you bring up RPS before everything happened?
I think we got to give a little bit of more context. This blew up because a rapper named 손신바, he read some fanfic that he thought was about him, and he got pissed off, and he went off on Instagram, and that's why it blew up.
We could agree that the whole catalyst was AI Luda. If AI Luda didn't even occur, then this wouldn't occur either. Like there were comments.
손신바 was the one who first reported.
Yeah, and then people went on, you know, what's RPS?
People
and then
jumped on the bandwagon because
there were
Luda.
like gay shipping of, you know, national heroes and Japanese colonial rule dictators.
I gotta admit though,
hey,
even if it's a whataboutism, it's a strong like.
I know, but those are very,
you know
very minor stuff. If you start speaking of something you've never been interested into or you suddenly get mad over it, your motives become very questionable. In this case, unfortunately, everything escalated and Luda got shut down and the water was already spilled. So result-wise, this whole gender war, like it or not, revealed and exposed many disgusting things happening on the internet like RPS and deepfake and sect.
Right.
So people are now talking about it all and punishing all of it. So I guess result-wise, it shed a good result. But at the same time, we always have to have in mind about the process. Each side was basically shitting on each other even now and just trying to take down each other.
Right.
So their motives were not let's make a cleaner society, let's make a cleaner internet. They were just shitting on each other. They were fighting.
Right.
And it generated more gender conflict. It's just sad that how our society has to realize there is a problem about something once all shit starts going down. And like for example, Chungin, the baby, I made a video about it, go watch that too, who was beaten to death. Our society should have been able to identify the problems beforehand and prevent them before it becomes a huge ass problem. So that's why I give more points to the feminist activists, like who are like, you know, pointing out like sexual harassment of women.
White knighting.
Because you know, like they at least feminists are consistent, and they always preach about it. They always act on it. But like this sudden RPS movement from the other side, it came out of nowhere. It came out of a counter strike.
Do you think deepfake porn shouldn't be addressed because it's also another whataboutism?
Well, what?
Right?
Well,
right? Right? Like
no.
Logic,
I can rebut that totally because deepfake was already brought it up even before this.
Whatever it is, the end result is that people got to know about
that's what I
shit.
said. Like result-wise, it was good,
and it
but
don't matter.
The process was messy, and we got gender conflict. We could have avoided that if people had interest in RPS even before, and they started their own petition without the Luda controversy, without women's sexual harassment. So I'm just saying, men, if you really care about RPS shit, like let's be real. No fucking Korean male out there cares about K-pop male idol rights, and they're not out there to protect K-pop male idol rights in RPS. They're just doing it because they're butthurt. They're just butthurt.
If we go by that logic, most people in Korea, they shouldn't have a say about BLM because they're not gonna care.
What I'm saying is if they have genuine interest in it, there should be a movement and there should be activism without gender conflict happening. And the reason gender conflict is happening here is because they're using it as a countermeasure. That's
the reason there's a gender conflict is because they're taking something that's predominantly used by female fans and they're playing it out as something problematic, and also as a counter move. The other side is taking something that's used predominantly by males and they're making it a problem. Of course, if you're taking something that's used by predominantly, a certain group of people, then they're gonna have a problem with it. Okay, if you want to hear more about my arguments, I'm gonna argue David Big, the White Knight. of K-pop. White
my
knighting
God.
for
You're making-
everybody.
you're making me look bad.
He goes to a grad school and thinks he's now some sort of white knight feminist. I'm gonna argue
It's
with
just
him
basic logic.
on the after show. So if you want more of that,
Okay, hot ass tea on the after show. Reserved.
Patreon.com/DKDKTV. And on to the next news. Okay, so we got some updates on the Burning Sun case. Long time no see, Burning Sun. It was a bit
Before
of...
we go on
what,
into everything.
What?
Reportedly, allegedly,
Okay,
allegedly,
okay.
reportedly.
Now, obviously, we're not like fucking phoning.
The
Sumi.
source is not
Okay.
us. It's Korean news. This has
Okay,
been
okay.
circulated in Korean news 100 times, 1,000 times already.
It was a bit of a mess last week as the Burning Sun Gate was dug up into the public eye once again by none other than Kim Sang-gyo.
Oh, that dude.
The first initial informant of the case. On January 13th, Kim Sang-gyo posted on his Instagram claiming that Girls' Generation's Hyoyeon knew something about the case and she needs to confess.
Who was the top actress that was high on drugs and drooling that the police officers weren't even allowed inside the club that night? Hyoyeon, you must have seen who the VVIPs were that night, and the man who was high on drugs when he beat me inside the club. You must know if he's that druggie who was Seungri's friend. It's about time you fessed up. It won't be long now. It's up to you all whether or not the identities of the numerous celebrities affiliated with Burning Sun will be revealed against your will, or if you're gonna cooperate.
Now, keep in mind, Kim Sang-gyo, he put up a lot of posts.
Yeah.
He was the one that initially blew out
Right.
Burning Sun.
Right.
So I'll give him points for that. But he also wrongly named a few celebrities previously. Now, Hyoyeon was the DJ of Burning Sun Club at the night that Kim Sang-gyo had been beaten by the staff members of Burning Sun. The reporting of which led to the investigation of Burning Sun case. SN quickly responded the next day stating that Hyoyeon was merely there to perform and denied all claims of the post. And Hyoyeon also put up a post with similar message, adding that the only people that were drooling were the people hooking up in the club. On the other side, Seungri has been going through numerous trials in the military. He has so far been denying all but one of his 8 charges, the violation of Foreign Exchange Transactions Act. On January 14th, on his 7th trial, 2 witnesses of his prostitution mediation charges was summoned to the court. The witnesses have been previously sentenced to probation themselves for prostitution mediation in 2015 and 2016 for Seungri's business partner Yoo In-seok's business clients. The witnesses claimed on January 14th that the mediation was at the request of Mr. Yoo and not Seungri, and Seungri had no hands in the matter. While they did admit that Seungri was hanging out with prostitutes, they claimed that he likely did not know they were such people, as he hung out with a lot of the witnesses' friends and acquaintances casually, who a lot of them happen to be prostitutes.
Okay.
So-
Happens in daily life.
Right, I guess. Just another day in Gangnam. Now another charge was added on this court hearing for Seungri and Yoo In-seok, which is special violence instigation. According to the prosecution, on December 30th, 2015, Seungri got into an argument with another customer while drinking with his acquaintances. Seungri then discussed this in a group chat with Yoo In-seok, who then stated he would be calling over a gang member who he is acquainted with. A gang member then reportedly proceeded to threaten the customer at a back alley. Seungri has also denied this charge. Now, Hyoyeon, a popular yet very controversial news channel.
We can't even follow their
They're
reputation.
super yellow.
They're
journalism,
notorious.
Right.
Yeah.
They get sued all the time.
Right.
Now, this Hyoyeon claimed that they had met with the customer who had been threatened. According to them, the customer was in fact a JYP employee.
Wow.
The employee had allegedly stepped into Seungri's room at the bar in accident, which then led to an altercation. How do you step into a bar and then it leads into an altercation? According to Hyoyeon, the JYP employee was much bigger than Seungri, and Seungri nearly got hit by the employee. Thus, Seungri called the help of the gang members. Now, I would take that report with a grain of salt. a lot of salt actually, because Hyoyeon has been known to continuously report unproven news for views and likes.
Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're not right.
Sometimes they have the tea.
And even if they're not right, they're not afraid because one of them is like a big ass lawyer. And
This channel, it's actually one of the highest profit. I think it's the highest
profitable. Yeah,
it's the highest profit
Shit ton of
channel
money.
in YouTube. It gets the most super chats out of all channels on YouTube. Can you believe that? In Korea. What do you think about this case?
Okay, first of all, I think Hyoyeon is the biggest victim here. Like she was caught in like the crossfire. Like she has no faults, and I don't even know why she's there. Like in the statement, Kim Sang-gyo did her dirty. I think his tactic was to drop a big name that everyone knows and draw the attention and just make her as a scapegoat. So I think he succeeded in his strategic tactic on getting national attention on this case because it's still ongoing. But at the same time, I feel very bad for Hyoyeon because she didn't take part in any of that and she didn't know and she didn't witness anything. On the other side, excluding Seungmi and everything, the Burning Sun case, there is national consensus that there hasn't been a full thorough investigation. Every single lead hit a dead end because like a police officer was killed because a high profile police officer got released and blah blah blah. The public is looking for answers, then they're really stressed. When Kim Sang-gyo came out as if he were like Jesus, he's gonna sacrifice everything, I'm gonna spill all the tea, I'm gonna wait for y'all to come out from the military. The public were intrigued. They were definitely they were definitely attracted by his tactics and his tea. The thing is, we have to wait and verify whether if he has actual tea or not. Like not tea, but actual evidence. Like things that he can prove. Like he said,
this is some serious shit. It's not tea.
Yeah, he's facing so many legal issues here. Maybe if he's going this strong of a stance, maybe he does have evidence.
Actually, about the Kim Sang-gyo guy, so there's another case that he's a part of.
Yeah.
Remember when Burning Sun happened? He got he uploaded this video of him getting beaten up, and now he it blew up Burning Sun.
Right.
And some people from Burning Sun, the club goers, they actually sued him for sexual harassment.
Right.
They claimed that he was touching them or
booty
something.
or their booty or something. Yeah.
So I think that was 3 women. Apparently, according to reports, none of them have shown up to the court dates.
Okay.
Not a single court date.
That's questionable.
That is very questionable. I have my toes dipped in Kim Sang-gyo's world.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can fully trust this guy.
Yeah.
But I also think he's the victim for a lot of things that he's being accused of.
The thing is, there is national consensus that Burning Sun, there is something way bigger behind that. There's a bigger power, and it's most likely tied to politics or the rich. And it's not entertainment industry level because no case can hit a dead end like that. So anyways.
Oh, well, actually, okay, my friend has a story about Burning Sun.
In the after show. If you want to know all this kind of tea about Burning Sun, RPS, Irene, we're gonna go thoroughly on that. We're gonna have a whole
there's a lot of things that we
on the after
can't
show.
talk about here for the fear of being sued.
Yep.
And also because it'll get too long.
Right.
These are the itsy bitsy details
Right.
that we can't talk about here because this video will be 15 minutes long.
So spill the tea on the after show, patreon.com/DKDKTV.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.